Hey, what's going on, family?
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to Ministry Talks. This is episode 4.
Episode 4.
This is episode 4.
Yeah.
Listen, if you have not liked or subscribed, make sure you do that right now.
That's right.
And if you'd like to get questions to us, comments, or anything that may be on your mind that we can try to do the best that we can, make sure you hit us up on our email at ministrytalkspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. We'll put the link of that in the description.
We'd love to hear from you. I'm excited about today's topic.
Yeah, so am I.
This one's going to be good.
Yeah.
Pastor West, why don't you go ahead and give us that intro of just kind of what we're talking about today?
Absolutely. Yeah. So today's topic is friends in ministry. I've been in ministry now for about 25 years.
Yeah.
And I was told by a former senior pastor who I very highly respect. He's retired now.
Okay.
Highly respect this guy. And I was really sad the day that he told me, don't ever expect to have a best friend in ministry.
He said that?
He said that. Yeah. He actually,
How long ago?
That was, it was before I was a senior pastor.
Okay.
I was thinking about becoming a senior pastor. And so I've been a senior pastor for 13 years. So it was at least over 13 years ago that was actually said to me. So can you imagine jumping into senior pastorate when you're like, oh man, I'm just going to do this all by myself, right?
That's so encouraging, but discouraging at the same time. I don't know if that's, do you agree, disagree? Where are you at with that now? I mean, I know we're going to get into discussion and I know you got a reference, but do you agree, disagree with it now?
Now I absolutely disagree with it.
Okay.
I think, and I don't remember which pastor's podcast I listened to that actually said this, but there was a reference to the idea of if you don't have friends in ministry, let's quantify that, or let's qualify that real quick,
okay.
Right? Friends in ministry means this: someone who knows what it takes to be in ministry.
Yeah.
Someone who has been in ministry or is in ministry, right? And or someone who is sympathetic to the unique challenges that is ministry. Okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of qualifies that, because not everybody thinks of ministry as a job. I don't know if you know that or not.
People, I get questions quite a bit like, what do you do?
Right. Why are we paying you what we're paying you? So
that
just
you
can
sit
do
and have coffee, you get to go have lunch and all that. Like, why do you do, or what is it that you do? And I don't think people really understand. So
folks just who are sympathetic to the understanding of the nuances and the difficulties of the calling and all of that stuff of ministry. So that's kind of the whole setup and purpose of today is to talk about, do you have a friend in ministry? Do you have someone who is either in ministry that you can partner with or that you can bounce things off of?
Right.
Do you have a tribe of people? I do have a handful of pastors that I meet with quite often
that are senior pastors,
that are actually senior pastors,
which is so pivotal, pivotal.
And there was an entire year. We'll get to this. There's an entire year I took a break from them because I thought they were all crazy. Oh no, we'll tell you about that in a little bit. But yeah. So
I do want to get into that actually.
One of the things about friends in ministry is very much this. So any leadership podcast will tell you it's very lonely at the top, right?
Yes.
Any leader book that you have out there, it's lonely at the top. It's lonely you being a leader. And here's why. Because you carry the unique burden of actually performing or accomplishing, that's a better word, the call that God actually has for you. If you're a senior pastor, it's the vision of the church, right? That's you have that unique calling, that unique feel. And if you don't actually have the ability to hold that down, gather people around you, shepherd them, teach them, lead them, that kind of thing, then that's just a very heavy burden.
Yeah.
It's a heavy burden to carry. I keep telling folks, one of the biggest things that keeps me awake at night, and mind you, I sleep like a baby. Like when I sleep, okay? But when I hire somebody new on staff.
You have shared that with me before.
That's the thing that keeps me up at night. Are we doing enough to make sure that when payday comes around, like the money is there, right? Are we following God enough to where, are we being good stewards enough of our finances?
That is a topic that we are going to discuss later on.
Exactly.
In these episodes. I don't know if it'll happen in this season or the next, but talking about being a good steward and the finances.
Right.
I definitely know we're going to talk about that.
Well, and as a senior pastor, that's the only thing, because, if I have to lay everybody off, but I'm the only one who has a paycheck because we're not doing good as a church, that's just lame.
And those are that's the real burdens.
Right.
Probably not, obviously seats being filled, but I think those are some real burdens. And maybe we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, maybe so.
What are the real burdens of a senior pastor? Maybe I'll come at you with a couple rapid fire questions.
I think that'd be a good episode.
I like that.
I think that'd be a good episode. So, anyway, so then the question, Pastor West, do you even have friends in ministry?
Well, Pastor West, do you have friends?
Absolutely. I do. I got one right here.
Hey, I consider that an honor.
We have been friends and whatnot for over a decade.
Yes, sir.
But yes, I do. I do have some friends. So it's very unique, actually, because, it's hard to find two guys that click really well. And then it's also hard to have two women click really well. But it's even more unique to have both the husband and wife click with a husband and wife, really well. Yeah. Well, my wife and I, we have a set of best friends.
Yeah.
My best male friend and her best female friend are husband and wife.
So that is amazing.
And they are not just sympathetic to ministry. They've actually been in ministry with us for many, many years.
I love it.
And I can honestly say that I would not have been able to do what we've done or be where we are without their support, their prayers, their hard work. They are hardworking people, man. Let me tell you. And so would I have done things differently had I not had them? Yeah, I probably would have cried a lot more. Like,
I don't think there's anything
I'm just
wrong
being honest with that,
honest.
Man.
He said I would have cried a lot more.
I would have cried a lot more because okay, so having a friend means, to me, that you can, what does the Bible say? Mourn with those who mourn, celebrate with those who celebrate, right? Rejoice with those who rejoice.
Yes, it does.
And having that friendship allows you to do that.
Right.
It allows you to say, hey, this happened in church today, or this happened this week, and it was amazing, and I just need to be able to tell somebody.
Because what is the average day? When does every senior pastor want to quit?
Monday, usually.
And I think for youth pastors, if you have
Sunday afternoon.
And I think if you're a youth pastor, typically for me, it's Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, dang.
Yeah.
I'm driving home. Did I do enough?
Right.
Did we do enough? Did
they get it? Did they get it?
Did I say something stupid? Did I lead my team well?
See, I don't ever ask that question because I know I say something stupid.
I'm going to say
always say something stupid.
You know what's been a great escape? And this just happened. Last night.
Okay.
Where we were getting ready to go into groups. We're talking about what's getting ready to, happen. We got an event coming up.
Yeah.
And I literally said, this is the date of the event, which was factual. As far as details go, do not ask me. Make sure you ask my wife or my assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody bust out laughing because they know there is fact behind
you are not I am not the detail guy either. God made me the visionary. I see 30,000 feet. I paint in big old strokes. You ask me what the hex color of that is, I won't even know.
So I know you referenced something you read.
Yes.
In regards to this. As the conversation is starting to kind of flow really quick, let's kind of hop into this because I know you said, for you, what is a good friend? I don't know if you were done with that, but I wanted to continue to keep hearing that.
Okay.
Like what is a good friend to you? What are some things you look for in that, especially in ministry?
Right. Well, one of the things that I really enjoy is someone who's not going to fix the problem. I'm already praying about it.
Okay.
Right. Like I'm coming to you with just some frustration. I don't need you to fix it. I just need you to listen.
Yeah.
Right. Prayerfully consider things with me. If I need a fix, I'm asking for a fix. Trust me, I'm asking.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, can we work through this together means I need you to work through this together. So being able to just vent and or just not have things fixed. That's a really big thing in friendship to me.
And I think you got to make that clear up front.
Absolutely.
Just like you said. Hey, I'm praying through this. I just need to vent.
Exactly.
Hey,
yeah.
Can you walk with me as I navigate through this? Yeah,
the other thing that I consider is somebody who's not afraid to have fun.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, well, that should be pretty obvious, right? They're your friend. Sometimes my definition of fun is different than others.
Okay. I like that you're going here.
And so for me to have fun, I'll go kayaking.
Yeah.
I'm not getting Isaiah in a kayak.
I can't swim.
I like to go bike riding. Now, when I say bike riding, I mean long distance. I'm talking 50 miles as a minimum ride, right? 25 out, 25 back.
It's a long bike ride.
Okay. That to me is fun. And I have a friend who is sympathetic to ministry.
Yes.
He knows the ins and outs of ministry.
Yes. And
he goes on those long bike rides with me.
And I think it is okay. It is more than okay.
Right.
Like, I love the gym.
Right.
I'm in the gym for about an hour and a half too. I block that time out.
On purpose. Is that where I saw you pumping that 405?
Yes.
Dude. That's a different podcast. Whatever.
We'll talk about that later. I've got some people like, oh, I don't know if that counts. No, that counts. I got that thing. I got that thing off my chest. But that is what I define as fun. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, sometimes I don't have to go with anybody.
Yeah.
I'd rather that's my safe place.
Right.
Away from my wife and kids, mm-hmm. away from the desk, away from the meeting, away from everything.
Right.
I have that space. You have that space. Mm-hmm. What I would define as a friend, I think one of the things, especially specific to ministry, is consistency.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can speak to that all day.
And I'd love for you to. I've actually stepped into a space now where I have scaled back all of my meetings.
Yeah.
All of the this, all of the that. And you know what I'm talking about. And mm-hmm. just to get even more specific, so you know what I'm talking about, all of the coffee meetings, hey, let's do this. And hey, I've scaled that back.
Right.
I'm probably meeting with 3 people a month now on purpose.
Gotcha.
You being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Another senior pastor in Federal Way who you know.
Mm-hmm.
And another guy I'll tell you offline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I believe God has intentionally brought all of you in this space in my season. Mm-hmm. And watch this. My wife agrees. My wife is good with it. My wife loves, and there's been multiple things where my wife has said, you need to call Pastor West and you need to talk to him about that. Mm. She said, because I don't know if that's the right thing. I don't agree. And it's okay to not agree.
Oh, yeah. And that's another thing that makes a really good friend, though.
Yeah.
Is call me out on my mess. If I'm being a whiny baby, tell me about it.
Please.
If I'm making a wrong assumption, tell me about it. If I come to you and I say, hey, what about this? Or I think that, and you know up front, hey, that's all kinds of red flags.
Yeah. A
good friend is going to be like, whoa, hey, slow it down. Right. I mean, and biblically then beginning to look at a friendship, in the Bible. And the reason I'm going to bring this up is because there's a lot of, folks out there right now in the, Webiverse, the website universe, the Webiverse, like in the Twitterverse and all of this, who are saying that David and Jonathan did not have a good God-honoring friendship. And they're trying to actually deface and attach not God-honoring qualities to their friendship. But that was a pure friendship between a man who honored God and a man who honored God, and both of them were afraid of the same person. They were both afraid of Saul.
Yeah.
Right? And so they had this friendship to where when Jonathan knew something bad was coming, he would warn David. Well, that's
I'm looking something up right now.
Go for it.
We're just going to be.
That's a great friendship. Yes. So if I come to you and I say, hey, well, what about so-and-so? And you see a warning sign, mm-hmm. you're supposed to tell me. Right. So much so that later on, the son of Jonathan was invited to be at David's table.
Come on.
Right? That is a friendship. If Isaiah's family ever needed a place to be because he was out of town or y'all needed to be fed, they can come sit at the table, or I'll go to their table, whatever. That's the type of friendship that I know that I like to have. And to have that in ministry. So it's Craig Groeschel. If you haven't read his book, it's actually reprised right now. He's got a second version of it out. I don't know if it's still the same chapter, but chapter 6 is called the refrigerator chapter, right? You get refrigerator rights. In other words, we're going to be so close in ministry, but also close enough as friends that when you walk into my house, I don't get upset or you don't have to ask permission to come and actually get into my refrigerator. What's mine is yours, right?
I'm probably always going to ask because there's a
I will too.
That's common. There is a
That's it. Well, it's a Southern thing for me. Like, growing up in the South, you don't just walk up and take stuff. Now, I mean, if it's on somebody else's plate, that's different. But you don't just go.
I couldn't.
You couldn't?
No, I mean, I just couldn't. Okay, we're talking about friends, and we're talking about friends in ministry. I always want to make sure we give biblical principle or just an insight of where this is coming from. We're not just talking just to talk. Like we're not just when we decided that we were going to discuss this.
Yeah.
I began to think about Jesus' approach to his disciples.
Yes.
In Luke chapter 6. And I am turning there very carefully because I'm not trying to rip my Bible. That's like the worst thing that you can do. In Luke chapter 6, verse 12, reading out of the NLT. We talked about that earlier. I love the NLT. Sometimes I even reference ESV. It just depends. But today's NLT. Jesus chooses the 12. One day soon afterward, Jesus went up on a mountain to pray. And he prayed to God all night. At daybreak, he called together his disciples and chose the 12 of them to be apostles. And here are their names. Now, I'm not going to go off the list of names. I'm just going to stop right there. If Jesus took time to pray to figure out who his disciples were going to be for the next 3 pivotal years, I think probably the most 3 impactful years of ministry to ever be seen, then you and I need to take that same approach to who we sit and who we have life, who we do life with and who we have coffee with.
Right.
And out of the 12, he also had an inner circle.
Yes.
And one of the things I love about my youth leadership team, I have a great team. They're there.
Right.
But I have an inner circle out of those who walk with me every week. They tell me, Isaiah, hey, man, the attitude could be a little bit better. And they have a right. Now, I don't give access and right to everybody.
Right.
But because they see me and they understand the call of God.
Yeah.
Like you understand the call of God that is on my life.
Right.
Remember before we even sat and did this, I think almost a decade ago, I approached you. I said, would you consider praying about being my mentor and doing life with me?
Right.
You prayed, I prayed.
Yep.
You had a peace, I had a peace. And now here we are. Why am I referencing Luke chapter 6, verse 12? Jesus went to go and pray.
Yep. Before he chose.
We can't just call everybody friends. Some people are just associates, and it's okay.
Right.
You don't have to be on everybody's panel. And I've been on panels. I've been to speaking events. As of lately, I'm just not pushing it and trying to be everywhere anymore. I'm in a season of rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that season of rest, God is allowing me and opening spaces for this to be produced because I'm doing this with my friend, my brother, my mentor, a pastor who I look up to. I just love Jesus's approach. And Jesus, if we are to model his life, and he took the time to get intentional about praying for that, we need to do the same thing. That's Luke chapter 6.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say it again. Isaiah just said it. You don't have to have a million friends. No. You don't have to have a gigantic group of people. And I think that's one of the things that, Facebook has done a very big injustice towards, right? Because you have your Facebook page and all of these people are your friends. They're not true friends. There's this comedian out there who says, why were selfies invented? Right. And I'm going to butcher the joke, but I'm going to basically throw it out there. Why are selfies necessary?
I have no idea.
You got 450 something friends on Facebook and not one of them are available to take your picture. That's why selfies were like, I'm going to do this by myself. But if you really have all of these friends, one of them's going to be right next to you and go, hey, let me take that picture for you.
Yeah.
Right. Let me really catch the shot. Yeah. I don't need to see, up your nose. I don't need to see, too much of the left side or the right side of your ear or whatever. Right. So like it was a real joke. Like it was super funny the way that he presented it. But the concept is, though, we've been trained that if we have somebody following us, they are our friend. But can you call on them? right? So a friend in ministry then is somebody you can call on.
Yeah.
It's somebody who is like, they know some of the ins and outs.
Yeah.
They're sympathetic to what's going on, and you need them.
And I think just kind of, and this is obviously gonna lead into the next episode,
right?
And the next episode is talking about expectations.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Pastor West?
Partnering in ministry with others with expectations, spoken or unspoken.
If I make my expectations clear to my wife, she knows them.
Right.
I cannot get upset if she didn't do anything I didn't yet communicate clear on.
Right.
So if I'm having a conversation with you, we know the conversation we're gonna catch up. I don't know how many sermons I've brought to you. I think I've brought almost every sermon that I've ever preached, whether in your house,
right,
or even here into my own house. Hey, how does this sound?
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Right.
That's how much I value his opinion. That's how much I value your opinion. That's how much I literally see you as, hey, this is what I am gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Am I hearing this right?
Yeah.
Am I breaking this down the right way? We talk about everything from ministry, how are the girls, house food,
mm-hmm.
anything and everything.
Right.
Like, to me, if I don't have a Pastor West sitting in this chair or to walk alongside me in this journey, in this season, I don't think you would see me sitting here at all.
Wow.
And I think that's a real thing.
Yeah.
I think that to me, I have to say it even louder and clear. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're sitting, to me, it just, I wouldn't be here without you. I don't think this would last if I didn't lean into some of your, like, and this is just being honest.
Yeah.
Jesus sat and he prayed.
Mm-hmm.
I see it all the time. And we just got done talking about trends and fads, and
mm-hmm.
we just got done covering that. It's so trendy now to like, oh, let me get this guy. Let me get that guy. Let me do this conference.
Right,
Let me do.
right.
I'm not even doing youth conferences right now.
Or it's also trendy to go, oh, hey, did you read such and such a book? Because I know you don't have a mentor right now, right? I mean, reading a book is just like having a mentor. No, it's not.
No.
I mean, you can get a lot of wisdom from a book, and that's actually where a lot of this came from. A lot of this conversation came from. One of my favorite books actually right now is called Dangerous Calling by Paul David Tripp. And there's a chapter in here called the missing community. And it definitely references the idea that, you know, if you're in ministry, you can't be doing it alone. God has placed you in ministry with other people, and the entirety of the gospel, the entirety of ministry as we know it cannot be done by a singular person. That's even why Jesus decided to train up his 12, and it goes in, you know, a whole lot deeper than that. And so, you know, I don't want to harp on it. If you haven't read it yet, then please do. But just know that it's probably going to ruin you for a little bit. It's going to challenge your heart. Wow. If you can sit and read through it, then you didn't actually read it. That's my opinion. And so get that book if you haven't, and then pray. And then if it hits you, stop reading and just let it work on you. But that was one of the things that came up during this book, and so which is why it was a topic I wanted to cover.
Well, I think in closing, here's the aim. I think if Jesus took the time, and I know it probably sounds like a broken record, but I just want to harp on it because I think sometimes you got to repeat things. If Jesus can take the time to be intentional about praying about his 12, are you taking the time? And it's okay if you need to step away and take a break, and maybe we'll do another part 2, because I know you want, I would love to hear how you said you took just a time to get away, because sometimes too many voices can overcrowd Jesus. And maybe that'll just be a quick part 2.
That'll be in the bonus.
That'll be in a bonus
bonus feed. Yeah.
Hey, listen. We love you. We love that we get an opportunity to get in this space. Once again, this is a safe place for you.
Right.
So make sure you make sure you subscribe. Yeah. And if you haven't already, hit us up with an email at mintalkspodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. We don't know everything, but we're willing to walk with you through everything. All right. We love you.
Absolutely. We love you guys. And next week, or the next podcast.
What is it?
It's, I think we referenced it.
We referenced it.
Partnering in ministry with others with expectations, spoken or unspoken. That's kind of a big deal, spoken or unspoken. So, hey, we love you guys. We'll see you later.